Liberalism's death rattle. That's the focus of tonight's angle. All right, they lay waste to everything they control: education, entertainment, journalism, urban America. They produce kids who can't read, films that don't connect, news that doesn't rate, and cities that you don't want to visit. And congresswomen who can't reason.
Will you be the voice of reason in the administration and urge Trump to stop waging a war on American consumers and on housing or affordability and putting the economy at risk? Yes or no? You don't have to explain.
Representative Waters,
will you be the voice? Will you be the voice? Will you be the voice? Will you be the voice of reason? Will you be the voice of reason?
A study
yes
from Wharton University
reclaiming my time. Reclaiming my time. Reclaiming my time.
Was a mass unfettered immigration.
Mr. Chair, will you let him know that when I ask him
time does belong to the
housing
woman
stock.
from California.
10 and 20 million immigrants
Can you
took
shut
up the
him
housing stock of working Americans. And can you maintain some level of dignity?
Decency, dignity, that's obviously asking too much. Can you shut up? Maxine should be interacting with visiting angels, not whip-smart cabinet secretaries. She read every question, by the way. Her poor staff, I feel bad for them, if she even remembers their names, that is, because she didn't remember what she had just said to Besant.
Do you regret basically telling the secretary to shut up during the hearing?
I didn't tell him to shut up.
You asked for him to be shut up.
No, I didn't.
You did. You're on camera saying it.
Oh no, you're not. You're not right. I told Hill to tell him to shut up.
Right. Do you regret? I know. Do you regret saying that?
Oh, you missed it. You're trying to make up something.
Mad Maxine and liberalism, both on political life support. Now, none of them seem happy, by the way. They were happy during COVID when people were shut in, and you had to do DoorDash, and no one went to church. They're happy then. But now they're pretending to be shocked that a new administration would change investigative priorities.
The SEC was dropping cases. The Consumer Financial Protection Bureau dropping cases. And
well, sir,
look, you're on FSOC with all the heads of these agencies. This should be a serious question to you. Trust should be a serious question and a serious issue for the financial services industry, especially as the Secretary of the Treasury. Well, that's an important. No, this is my time. I haven't asked you any more questions. I haven't asked you any more questions.
It's the gentleman from Massachusetts.
I'm trying to get to my next question.
Could you speak a little louder? I can't hear you.
Yeah, okay. I might.
But that was nothing compared to the come apart from that old lefty Congressman Greg Meeks.
All you have to ask is yes or no.
No, Congressman.
All you have to ask is yes or no.
The OCC is an independent entity, and I would know, Congressman,
I take that as a no.
You traveled to Venezuela to lobby
I take that as a no.
On behalf of your donors,
on
behalf of your donors.
You do not want to answer that question. I take that as a no.
For a $7 billion.
I'm asking you to do your responsibility as Secretary of the Treasury.
Into a Venezuelan.
You do not.
Mr. Meeks,
will you?
Time has expired.
Oh, I love the pointing. He stopped him from being so smart. Now, this was comical. I enjoyed every minute. It was very revealing. Didn't lay a glove on Besant, obviously. And liberal incompetence goes down to the local and state levels as well. Mom Donnie in New York, remember he promised all those freebies galore, but couldn't get the snow plowed or the trash picked up after a snowstorm. At least the mayor's driveway itself got cleared out, though. And he stayed warm in his fancy new personalized jacket. Now, even the socialists were mad at him. Turns out governing is a lot harder than doing TikTok videos. Who would have thought that? But at least he does have compassion for people in need. For this guy who came at police officers with a knife.
I spoke with the Chakraborty family and I visited Chavez in the hospital. And there is no family should have to endure this kind of pain. Chavez has lived with schizophrenia for many years. Chavez needs mental health treatment, not criminal prosecution by a district attorney.
Socialists, liberals, none of them have a clue about how the real world works. The real world doesn't like that. And in Montgomery County, Maryland, one of the most liberal and the richest counties in the United States, things don't function at all, even a week and a half after a snowstorm.
Our street was plowed like less than half of it. So my side, we were trapped in our homes.
What a lot of this has done is throw up these massive piles of snowcrete and jumbles of ice and snow and other things that now blanket a whole bunch of the sidewalks.
They're not starting the new corridor now. It's also prolonging the whole school year.
It's a nightmare. China doesn't need nukes, just giant snow machines to paralyze these cities. And of course, what they've done to cities and schools, they've done to journalism. So while democracy may die in the darkness, the decline of the Washington Post is happening in the daylight.
A really troubling development at one of the most important news outlets in the United States. About 1 in 3 staffers of the Washington Post are impacted, I'm told. That means laid off today. Bezos has been focused on his Trump administration relationships, and many Post staffers feel they are the victims of that kind of attempt to curry favor and cozy up to the Trump administration.
All right, Bri. Look, liberalism, the old liberalism of the Kennedys, the Clintons, the Washington Post, the type of liberalism that seriously offered an alternative vision to the GOP, that's gone. When a political movement can't run the schools, can't clean the streets, or participate in a congressional oversight hearing, or even support its own legendary newspaper, then that movement is effectively dead. And by the way, it wasn't killed by conservatism or even by populism. It was killed by the left, who insisted on turning old-style liberalism into woke drivel that no intelligent person can take seriously. And as that fact becomes more obvious every day, the future of the Democratic Party is looking more and more like the future of its old supporters at the Washington Post. And that's the angle.
I get like that when I see Me Too. Happy Wednesday, everyone. So after Billie Eilish said no one is illegal on stolen land, a member of one Indian tribe noted that the singer's home is actually on their ancestral property.
Well.
Yeah, I think we have a picture of the Indian here. A wife who suspected her husband of cheating cut off his penis and flushed it down the toilet. Luckily for the husband, one man volunteered to retrieve it. Freezing temperatures continue around the country. This morning in D.C., for instance, they actually had to jumpstart Nancy Pelosi's face. Meanwhile, irate New Yorkers say their streets still haven't been cleared of snow, with one woman complaining she hasn't been plowed in years. Hundreds of dogs were in town for the Westminster Kennel Club dog show. Yeah, or as Christy Nome calls it, target practice. A 4-year-old Doberman Pinscher named Penny won Best in Show. Wow. Coming in a close second, Rosie's Untamed Bikini line. Yeah, boy. Jill Biden's ex-husband is being charged with murdering his new wife. Meanwhile, Jill's current husband is accused of murdering a bathroom. Sydney Sweeney admitted that she has a huge fear of being alone for the rest of her life. It's not that bad, said one man. In a police raid at a temple in Thailand, Buddhist monks were caught with pornography, sex toys, penis pumps, and an escort list. In a related story, guess who just filled out an application to become a Buddhist monk? Apple and Google are selling apps that can generate nude images from normal photographs. As a test, I even ran a picture of myself fully clothed, and lo and behold, it works. Yeah, this sure hides a lot. All right, so you got to hand it to the Democrats. On one hand, they think a child can handle the decision to lop off their genitals, but then on the other, they think black people can't get a photo ID. Right, Chuck?
The SAVE Act is an abomination. It's Jim Crow 2.0 across the country. We are going to do everything we can to stop it.
Thanks for weighing in, Chuck. Now go back to your burrow where you smash mice with your giant forehead. So Dems are calling the SAVE Act Jim Crow 2.0, but if that were the case, they'd support it again. But to them, showing an ID to vote is no different than forcing people to drink from separate water fountains. Meanwhile, you need an ID to buy Sudafed, rent a U-Haul, and date Bill Belichick. Of course, everyone, blacks, whites, Hispanics, like voter ID.
85% of white people favor it, 82% of Latino, 76% of black Americans favor it. So the bottom line is this. Voter ID is not controversial in this country. A photo ID to vote is not controversial in this country. It is not controversial by party, and it is not controversial by race. The vast majority of Americans agree with Nicki Minaj that, in fact, you should have a photo ID to be able to vote.
And that was on CNN, which is like Dracula admitting he owns a tanning bed. But when Nicki Minaj, your grandma, and CNN's Pee Wee Herman agree on something, that's not Jim Crow, that's eating crow. Yeah. Thank you. Little twist of words there. But Democrats don't hate the SAVE Act because it's racist. They hate it because it creates something they can't compete with, oversight. It's like putting a lock on the door. The people who already live in the house, they don't mind, but the people trying to break in start yelling about how locks divide people. Because locks keep everyone honest. And that's where we lose the Dems. It's when we start talking about honesty. Trying to find an honest person in that party is like trying to find a black singer on a Lawrence Welk rerun. Our audience gets that. But if your political strategy can't survive an audit, maybe your problem isn't the law, it's your party. It's as crooked as a picture hung on a wall by Kamala after happy hour. The same people who tell you borders are fake, gender is a choice, and crime is a social construct suddenly insist elections should be taken on faith. So yeah, call it Jim Crow. The rest of America is calling it sanity. And when sanity becomes controversial, you don't need an ID to check to know who the nut jobs are. For years, they told us voter ID was racist because minorities couldn't get IDs. I guess they've never been to the DMV. Most people that work there couldn't name an episode of Friends. Thank you. Thank you. That was pity applause. But Dems employ the soft racism of lowered expectations to forbid any oversight. So when the SAVE Act says, what if we had rules? They say, oh no, rules will expose our own corruption. And it makes Dems argue against something universally accepted, like gravity or the sex appeal of Craig T. Nelson. Yeah. So the Dems are now threatening to filibuster over a simple requirement to show an ID, to which I say, why not? Let the Dems talk for 3 days straight. I can't think of anything less popular than hearing Cory Booker talk. And keep in mind, I know Jesse Waters. Oh. But if the Republicans get it to a vote, expect the media talking heads to tell you how racist we all are. And the loudest sobs you'll hear will be from the White House or the white saviors who can't believe minorities didn't let them save their poor, no ID souls. But if you believe an entire race needs you to save them, maybe you're the bigot. The SAVE Act isn't about stopping people from voting. It's about stopping people from cheating. It's the same reason they drug test me at Mr. Universe. Yeah. At least that's what the man told me when he demanded a cup of my urine. Let's welcome tonight's guest. If he blows it tonight, he's afraid he won't get into a good college. Host of the Guy Benson Show, Guy Benson. These punchlines are like female pilots. They rarely land. Actor, writer, and comedian Jamie Lissow. Fun fact, she's immune to tranquilizer darts. Co-host of Outnumbered, Emily Campagno. And the Loch Ness Monster has blurry photos of him. Former NWA World Champion and host of the Planet Howard podcast. Guy, I love your purple sweater.
Thank you.
It's almost in time for Easter.
I wear purple year-round because I went to Northwestern, the college I attended decades ago.
Oh.
Just for the record, in terms of my age.
All right. I believe you, but I will ask for ID later after the show. Okay, you know what I love about this whole voter ID is racist thing? We've been talking about this for, 10 years. They've never offered one guy who, can they just find one person that says, I don't have an ID, to show I don't have an ID and I want to vote? They can't find one.
You'd think in a country of 330 million?
Yes.
50 million people, they could find one person.
Yes, one person.
Who has had this terrible thing happen to them.
Yes.
Wanted to vote, showed up to vote, doesn't own an ID.
Yeah.
And therefore couldn't. It makes no sense. And it's sort of fun watching someone like Nicki Minaj have this realization, have this epiphany, because she's new to politics, clearly, and she's been a bit red-pilled, and she's questioning some things. And her tweet that set a lot of this off, and there was a reference to it in the CNN clip that we played, she was like, what do you mean they're arguing against having an ID to vote? What's wrong with you? With all caps, she can't believe it. We're used to it because we cover this all the time.
Right.
But her response is actually the correct one, shock and suspicion. One more point. They call the voter ID idea, the concept, Jim Crow. And if the Republicans try to pass it, they're going to filibuster it. You know what else they call a relic of Jim Crow? The filibuster.
Yes.
So I wonder, how does this work in racism? Like in their rules, right? If you are fighting Jim Crow, but using Jim Crow to do it, does it cancel out? Someone should ask Chuck that question.
That is a great question.
Yep.
I knew this is why we have you go home after work to do homework. So cute. You know, Jamie, you often say to me, people of color shouldn't be allowed to vote. And I'm like, dude, I go, that's a little strong. It's a little,
what?
Yeah, he says that on his podcast, why I don't like people of color. And I'm just absolutely amazed that, no, you guys have never seen it. Anyway, let's see.
News to me. Breaking news.
But he uses the PC term people of color.
Yes, that's what I enjoy.
Oh, well, that's fine.
Yes.
Ooh, I was going to beat you up. We're good now.
Jamie, what do you think about this idea that, it's not racist? It's not racist to say blacks can't have IDs. Of course, it's racist to say they can't get IDs.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just plain and simple that if you are against voter ID, you are pro cheating and fraud. I've heard no other explanation. You need an ID. Like I was just in Indiana, and I was told that you need an ID to watch pornography.
Yes.
I was told by my phone.
Yes. And by the way, what did you do? You didn't watch pornography.
I absolutely did not put on a disguise and watch pornography. You just go get an ID. Like, you can make it fun. Like, what I like to do is when I go get a new license, I'll have 3 or 4 beers. And then that way, that's the way my picture looks. If I get pulled over after 3 or 4 beers, the cop's like, oh, that's what he looks like.
The old resting beer face look.
You know, Emily, I think the Democrats really hate this because it eliminates illegals from their voter rolls.
Yes.
That's the story nobody's talking about except here on this show.
Which is why they can't come up with an example or an anecdote of actuality, because then they would have to admit it's actually a non-citizen that doesn't have the ID. The thing is, Schumer said this exact same Jim Crow 2.0 in 2022 with the Georgia new law there, right? He literally said the same speech, and I'm pretty sure he just took it from the computer and said, let's say this again. And that turned out record voter turnout with Black Americans. But remember what happened as they were saying this is Jim Crow 2.0. People from California were moving there to try to stop things. Alyssa Milano was chaining herself to free ballot boxes, right? Hollywood was getting involved. They moved the MLB All-Star game to Colorado because of it. So the whole point is, when there was record turnout of the Black American population there in Georgia, all of these white people that were the saviors of that community ended up having egg on their faces, eating crow, because the dumbasses moved and made the biggest deal possible. They ended up impacting that community because they brought the game out of there, and yet it made no sense whatsoever. And I was thinking, like, why are they doing this? Why? And energy is neither created nor destroyed. So I think that they're just harvesting this same ball of anger and rage and like hot potatoing it from person to person, from issue to issue. But those of us that see, if you call everything Jim Crow 2.0, then nothing is. But if they would actually collaborate on most normal things and then save that for the one thing that was actual, not okay, then we would believe them a lot more.
I totally forgot about Alyssa Milano in this, and it's so ironic because she...
Well, everyone has.
Yeah, that's true. And by the way, she requires an ID to get into Alyssa Milano. Tyrus.
Yes.
Life must be really hard for you not having an ID. How do you get around? How do you get into this building? Do you just go on Google and just say, that's me?
I grab the shortest white guy next to me. I take his ID, and then I'm him.
Yeah.
And now I don't have an ID.
It's Emily said a lot.
Yes.
But one word that sticks out was harvesting. Because that's what this is about. It's harvesting. Now, I don't know. A few years back, I think it was right before the second term of President Trump, the one that he didn't work in the office, he worked from home.
Yeah.
I got text messages when I had first moved to Louisiana, and it was like, black voters, we need to get together. And we're going to help you register. We're even going to provide you with a bus and a place where we will drive you guys all in so you can vote. And I was like, wow, cool. I'm a Republican. Never heard from him again.
Yep.
Because what they're against is this, they control the vote. They load up people, they look for certain types, elderly, really young, and illegals. And they get them on these buses, they're educating them the whole way on how they need to vote. And then they send them all in to go vote, and they all vote the same. So that's what it is. They bus people in, minorities in, and lower income people in, so they get them to vote. And this has been a very effective thing for them because they make it easy. And when it's easy, like, wait, all I have to do is the thing, and you already have it filled out for me, and all I have to do is press here, go ahead and put my thing in the box. A lot of people will do that thinking, oh, I'm voting, but that's not how it works. That's not how it should work. You should have to represent as an American citizen. You should have to have an ID. That is the most dumbest, it's not even racist. It's like, you can't, to sit there and say a black man or woman doesn't have the ability to get a birth certificate because we're all born in sheds at night underneath betwixt the sugar cane in Tennessee. And then when we escaped, we forgot to get our birthing numbers. Like, it's just the stupidest. Nobody lives like that.
Yeah.
It's embarrassing. No one in America, everyone who wants to drive a car, every young man who wants to, they got to have an ID. You want to get in a club, you want to have an ID. They will even go to the lengths of risk penitentiary to make a fake ID. Because an ID represents independence, it represents accomplishment, and that's the worst thing when you're trying to hold a group of people down.
Yeah.
So just say, that's all it is.
All right.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.